Is the Ikea EXPEDIT bookshelf. In this video, very quickly, not a very long, complex thing, we're going to assemble this one, and basically I'm using the impact driver to speed things up a little bit, or you can use a little Allen wrench, which is included, and it can be freestanding, or you can bolt it to a wall. You can actually bolt it higher up on a wall, but you have to get stud spacing right, that sort of a thing, on how it's going to be bolted, because these things usually don't end up at the same distance apart as what you would have, let's say, in a wall stud. EXPEDIT is basically a cube, decorator cube, I'd almost call this. And this is one of the tools in the, or one of the pieces of furniture in the IKEA lineup that's going to benefit a lot from power tool usage. Okay, not all of them you can get away with it, but on this one it's definitely power tool friendly. So what I have is the impact driver set up with what I believe 4mm, and so that's how you speed up the construction process on this, and we'll show this stage by stage. The screws I showed earlier, pretty much the only other fasteners used in the assembly on this is pegs. Okay, and the sides and the top and bottom look very similar, but the sides are shorter pieces, so when they're set up here they're shorter. Apart from that, they're nearly identical. But what we do when we set it up, and you kind of tell from the picture here, is there's a solid shelf that goes across the middle. We get a couple of partials. We just set that in there. That's just the pegs holding it for now. And then as we position pegs here, these pegs go all the way through that middle shelf and into the next one of these. So we're going to have that little T thing. And this is one of those instances where you kind of got to be careful when you're putting this together. Helps maybe to not have it standing up, to do it sideways, so that you're not stressing out the pegs during the construction process. If one breaks off, it's not the end of the world, but you really want to avoid that. It's just that getting it to go straight, initially, you kind of want to do that while it's sitting out. So I'm going to set the camera down, straighten these pegs out, and then lay it on the side and fasten everything down. As you can see, we just slide everything together. Now this one, for whatever reason, is a little bit short on pegs. So if we're going to short something on pegs, I want doubled up in the middle, and I'd prefer to have doubled up on a weight-bearing edge. But on the top bottom, we only need one on each one to make sure that's going to stay aligned. So as we set this one here, you know, we're just going to set them on the outside to keep it aligned when it goes together. And find that other center divider, stick that in, and we'll be good to go. Everything's loosely together. We're going to just press them in. We're not going to bounce it or slam it really hard. Just basically press everything into place. One thing to look out for is these have holes for mounting to a wall. That's what those holes are there. You'll recognize the brackets in here because they're used in a lot of other furniture, but we may or may not use that. We just want to make sure that those holes all end up on the same side, because this thing's kind of reversible. It's possible to have those holes end up out here toward the front, and we don't want that. So we're going to make sure we line those up so that they're both going to be toward the rear, or at least not showing when the thing's set up. What you'll notice is we get the first two of these in. Once you sink these down to where it's making contact with that pre-drilled hole, you're connected. So at that stage, we just kind of make sure things look a little even and relatively even. You'll notice it all kind of pinches together at that point. And this is where it's okay to use a power tool to tighten those down. So what we do is we just kind of hit it, kind of like a... we're not trying to crank it down super hard. We're going to do kind of like a lug nut pattern here. We're hitting opposite corners instead of doing one side. And we'll flip it over, put the other side in, and we're done. So this one's actually a very simple piece. It gets done pretty quickly. Here you'll see these little foam circles in the package. You basically make your own decision on what's going to be the top and the bottom on this, and then put the little foam circles on what will be the bottom. And that way you can help keep it from getting scratched. Now, if it ever does get scratched, what you can do is just basically flip it around and put the foam circles on the other side if you want. So that's pretty much it. Flip it back straight, And that's what it looks like, the EXPEDIT bookshelf.